What's up guys, TC here and welcome back to Starbound Custom Creations, and today we are on our first Fan Friday in a long time. So we've got some really cool weapons submitted by you, the community, today, so we're going to check them out and they are really cool. So first things first, we're going to take a look at this Piercer. So this is by JJ2000, and this dude notoriously makes some really awesome weapons. He's submitted to Reddit a couple times. He's submitted a lot of really great weapons. He's actually got a really badass one coming next week. Well, if we have enough weapons for another Fan Friday next Friday, I'll be putting it out. But he's working on one right now. I don't want to spoil it, but it is really cool. So anyways, let's jump into what this one is. This is called the Piercer. It's kind of funny. So it looks like a drill. It's actually a weapon, and it functions like a staff. So this is essentially, it's a staff you charge up, put in a location, and it drops this huge drill. You got its explosive effect there at the end. Now the secondary ability is basically just a larger version of that, and we're going to back up just a bit. There we go, so you guys can see this, because it's a huge version. Yeah, it's a massive drill. Pops in, and yeah, as you can see, this is a huge drill that pops down. Does a ton of damage. Now I'm sure you're wondering, like, well, why doesn't it actually break blocks and dig and stuff like that? So he actually does have a variant of this that does drill blocks. But I think he doesn't want to release it to the public because it can be used to grief really easily, and I kind of agree with him on that. I don't. There's a lot of custom weapons you can make like this that are just, I don't know, they're just kind of like a threat to the public on public servers, and it's just best if they're just not easily available to everybody. So I understand why he didn't release that, and there's lots of weapons like that. I know Photo Loss made a really crazy weapon one time that basically destroyed all blocks that were loaded, like on the screen and off the screen. So I completely understand when people don't want to release the codes for that. So this one here is just the damaging version. Let's see if I can get Punchy to move. Well, push him over there. I want to get him back in the middle here. But anyways, that's JJ2000. It's a really cool thing. And so moving on from that, we have got the Crustrum. So this one's pretty interesting because this is like from one Fan Friday to another. A while back, we used to have Fan Fridays for custom monsters, and a buddy of mine named Starbound, he submitted a monster for it called the Crustoad, and it was like this kind of crystalline monster. Had these like really cool abilities. It could like shoot crystals and do these like sound-based attacks and heal itself. And so this is kind of like a weapon inspired from that monster. So you'll see here it shoots out these little crystals like that, and they kind of spread out. Let's see if we can move him. Come on, there we go. Keep moving. There we go. So the other attack is it basically spawns in these little baby versions of his Crustoad. So pop it over there, and as you can see, it spawns in little bitty baby versions, and they're on your team. They're not super strong, but they do have all the attacks of the mother. So we're going to spawn in a pop top here. So as you can see, he shoots out the little lasers. There's his little sound-based attack right there. So it's really cool that he kind of held it faithfully to the old Crustoad, and that it does all the same attacks and everything, just like it did, but the little baby, like, adolescent version. So it's a really cool weapon, and I love it that it's kind of like, we showed off that monster in a Fan Friday, and now we're showing off the weapon inspiration variant in this Fan Friday. Now, the next one here is also from Starbound, and this is a really cool weapon. It's got a great story to it. So you guys know I'm working on the arenas, basically a big world that you can download that's going to have tons of PvE and PvP arenas on it, and I'm going to include all of my custom weapons, and it's going to be like all custom monsters, custom arenas, custom fights, completely automated. And so while doing that, I wanted to have weapons that, interesting weapons that filled all kinds of little niches and roles. And one weapon I wanted to work on was a status weapon that can inflict multiple statuses, kind of like a go-to status weapon, like maybe buffing your allies and debuffing the enemies, right? And so I reached out to Starbound to help me come up with a weapon. And it worked out perfectly because I was being evacuated like right when this was going down, and he offered to make the weapon for me. So it was a huge help that he kind of got this thing done for me. And this is the weapon he came up with. It's called the Status Infuser. And so this thing's really awesome. Like, we're going to show you it real quick. You'll notice you kind of carry it weird, but you lift it up and you launch it like that. And so each one of these different has different charge times. It's actually a charge-based weapon. So you'll see here, the longer I hold the charge on it, you'll get different outcomes. Like this is a maximum charge here. And as you can see, it does different stuff with each charge. And that's all just left click. So this thing has 7 different fire modes. It's crazy. There's no real limit on how many you can put there. But the charge weapons are really hard. Like, I was really thankful he did it because he helped me kind of like get an understanding of how to do these, because I've only made one charge weapon. I didn't really edit the animations. So this one's really kind of opened the door for me to make other charge weapons in the future. And so this one here, really cool. It's got a really unique animation to it. The effects are, so the first one here I think is an energy effect if it's just a really short charge. So you'll see it kind of turns them green. It gives them an energy recharge for I think like a couple seconds. The medium charge here shoots out this orange one. I think this is rage. Yeah, this is the rage buff for a couple seconds. The long charge is a healing effect like that. So you'll see it's giving off these healing pulses. Now the last one here is really interesting. So what this does is, if this is the maximum charge, if you hold it for really long, you fire it, it's got like a two-part thing. So I'm not sure if this will work on him. Let's see. Yeah, so okay. Basically, the first projectile, whatever it hits, it stuns them, right? So you'll see he's locked in place. I think he can move now, but you'll notice that it transforms into another projectile when it comes back, right? So this projectile applies, I think it's like a rage speed buff or something like that. It's pretty crazy, but the idea is that you stun enemies and then you try to like have that other shot come back to you. But you have to be really careful, as like kind of like a balancing procedure. You have to make sure when it returns, it doesn't hit anyone else along the way, because you could accidentally buff your enemies, you know, if you're not careful. So I thought it was really cool. Now the right click has got a bunch of these are like self buff abilities. So I'm gonna go out of admin mode, and these are really cool. So if you really quick right click, see it turns you invisible. So I thought this was kind of great. It won't be very useful for PvP, for PvE, but in PvP it will work well, because for some weird reason the camo status in this game doesn't work on NPCs. Like, it just has no effect. But against other players, this is going to be really useful. Like, if on the PvP arena, I might include something like this, so you can kind of, you know, use it as a stealth weapon. Now, the middle click, or I'm sorry, the like medium long click, basically gives you like speed boost, jump boost, low grab, and bouncy. So I think the bouncy is kind of a way to kind of like balance it out, that it's not too overpowered. And then the what's the last one here? I think full charge. What does it do? Oh yeah, okay. So this is an interesting one. This one kind of reminds me of some of you guys might remember Armor Lock from Halo. Basically, it locks you in place and it gives you thorns and what's it called? Nova. Yeah. So the full charge locks you in place, so you can't move. Like, I'm trying to move right now and I can't. But I think you take no damage and you give off these effects. So real quick, let's spawn in a pop. Ow. Let's see if we can get this guy. Ah, crap. Well, looks like I inflicted it on him. But as you can see, whenever you're in this armor lock mode, when any monster touches you, it damages them. So we're gonna hop out of this, because I think I'm gonna die if I'm not careful. But yeah, so it's really cool. It's like armor lock, but it does damage, and I don't think you take damage. I think you can be like status, but I don't think you actually take damage. But it's a super cool weapon. I'm really happy that he managed to come up with it. It looks really cool. It functions really cool. I'm going to be making a different variant of this for the arenas, just because this one does a little bit too much, and it doesn't quite feel the exact role I want it to. Like, there are some of the things it does that have other weapons that already do it, and so he's given me full permission to edit this and adjust it, and so I'll probably be including some kind of Status Infuser Mark II in the actual arena that won't function exactly like this one, but very similar. So look forward to that. Now the last one here, this is pretty funny. I love like little joke and like funny weapons. So this one is called the Fabulous Fury by Pyranda. This is a YouTube commenter, and this one's pretty interesting because it shoots these like rainbow beams, and it also like shoots out these little butterflies. At that, it's not super powerful. Oh, it seems to poison you as well, which is funny. And then the secondary is pretty cool. So if you shoot, it's like a grenade launcher, and it spawns in these like rainbow colored clouds. So there you go. So I think it shoots out like 5 different colored clouds, and it gives off these like little note sounds as well. It's pretty cool. I love little joke weapons like this from time to time. You know, we always have like serious weapons. I love to have a good funny one. But anyways, that's gonna wrap today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this Fan Friday. You know, I'd love to see any kind of submissions you guys have. As long as they, you know, they function, I can tell you put a little effort into them, and it's not like you just copied someone else's weapon. I'm going to try to put these together hopefully every Friday. So if you have a weapon you want me to show off, put it in the comments section, send me a message on Reddit, whatever. You guys know all my stuff. Also, some of these guys here, like I know Cryobound, I think he submits his weapon on Twitter as well. So you guys should follow him. I'll put a link to him in the comments below, or in the little doobly-doop below. So anyways, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please rate, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later.